keep it to champion select. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Azir.
Yeah, B1 Azir, early rotation. I mean, I quite like getting stuff like Vi plus Azir pretty early on. I think that's quite a good draft, you know? You have a strong lane to get through the Vi through early. Is Xin Zhao open? Yeah, Xin Zhao's also open, but that's not quite a good matchup into Trundle. What are your thoughts, Jumana?
Yeah, I mean, Senna early lock. Hello, Scruffy. That's
scaling.
Senna Nautilus. Yeah, we're just like playing scaling, right? Try and leave Velia's champion pool to the wayside. I think there's plenty of options here in this kind of setup, but at the moment, you definitely want reliable, you know, means of engage. If you've got Senna and Azir.
Oh, that's an LPL pick right there.
LPL pick. It's very fun. Yeah. Zed tremendously outpaces the Trundle if this does actually end up getting locked in and it's not hover, but we get the boring answer in the Wukong. Of course, like I said, looking for more reliable means of engage. Wukong is certainly a way of providing that, but does need an additional layer of, you know, CC to really lock away those plays.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm noticing some power picks open, like Talia. If you want to like pick Trundle, pillar someone, land the Jhin Snare, and then Talia combo off of that, that's also a viable option. Because this champ is just so OP right now, and it's pretty good into the Azir, so they're going to lock that in real quick. As far as going into 4-5, I'd say LR probably want to lock in more dive. They already have the Wukong, champions that could dive up top side. You know, they could throw an Ornn ultimate over the top. However, I said that, and I remember they have Baus, so maybe not that angle.
Of champion pool. So keep in mind that it should be LR missing the second half of bans. It's going to be only for DMG, so they'll be focusing on the bans on the top side. As you can see on DMG, they want to take a little bit of breathing room for Baus. That's why the Shogath is there. Now, do you go for something else like the Poppy? So far, not a lot of dashes. To be honest, not a single one aside from an ultimate from Pantamisto. So I don't even know if that could be a pick towards the top side. But he has to reveal him probably B4, and they'll try to save their last pick for the top lane for chance.
Yeah. I think the problem is you don't have any bans to set up your blind pick, right, on 4-5 if you're LR, which makes it a little bit tricky. So what's the most blindable support that you could pick if you're CAEDREL? I think that's the question right now, which is pretty tricky. I mean, you could always just go something like Naught. You'll probably face down something like a Braum or so on. At the end of the day, you're probably okay with that.
That is actually what I'm quite surprised about here, is that DMG are still giving respect bans over the Baus when they're on red side. They could pitch like the easy champions to play out a support role and then take another and really kind of leave, you know, CAEDREL potentially with his pants down, because how many champs can he really play in the support role, right? Like comfortably in this kind of setting. Again, has center into Jhin, so it's not necessarily going to be the most, you know, interactive lane potentially. So maybe he's going to have a little bit of freedom to roam around, and that could definitely help out. And then at that point, you're just playing a support champion in team fights later on in the game.
Yeah, I think you definitely want to look for some kind of engaged support, I think. Something like a Rel, a Leona, Nautilus to set up the Talia spells is always really great as well for DMG if you want to go that route. And the response, I think CAEDREL has some simple answers that he can pick up. I mean, blind picking here, you want top lane counter or do you want support counter? In my opinion...
You want top counter. I think just giving chance the
but you're against
amount of resources.
CAEDREL. That's why the debate is, right, do you want to take advantage of that? But yeah, for sure.
Right, well, that's the Rel. Is it just the Alistar answer, right? That would be in my mind, like the most normal of all of them. But, you know, you can really kind of pick anything. And I think whilst Alistar would definitely be a very powerful pick here, something like the Braum to kind of dissuade some of the forward movement, or the Nautilus again, which is where my mind was going to, or even the Leona, because of the two immobile carries of DMG. All of them have been very fine options, but they do land on this Braum in the end as a means of, hey, like, if you go forward, we don't want you to be able to walk off very easily. And the Braum, of course, provides so much re-engage potentially if DMG look for aggressive plays.
Yeah. I quite like the Braum here. It at least provides a nice duo with the Azir, so the front to back is going to be really nice because the Azir constantly procs the Braum passive on the melees in the front line, and then you have quite a strong through the Braum down in bot side. So yeah, it's quite decent. It's also a good answer into the hard engage of the Rel, and then a Jax blind. Now, I think Ambessa is a good answer into the Jax, but you could also go the chance Cassante, because that's also a good matchup that we see internationally.
I was even thinking about... There you go. He has been so comfortable with that champion, why not just play your strongest champion? If you get any sort of lead, it might be the tipping scale for DMG. LR 2-0 so far. DMG still looking for their second win. If they win right now, they're going
Let's get on to the rip for our first game of the day. Thank you all for your patience. So we have got a level 1 plan straight away, looking to catch out CAEDREL, but the Winter's Bite on Santa Braun will deliver a present directly into the face of Karmsky.
All right, and we also got a reply right here from Jamada, who jumped on the opportunity to diss Don Jake. He says, nope, he's about 300 LP lower. All right, then.
Oof.
That's a dub for CAEDREL right there. Oh, let's see.
Direct
Is he going to get one?
opposite.
Is he going to get one? He's fishing.
Hang on. 1 gold.
plus one.
Oh, that's it. That's game over.
That's right.
That's the difference
That's
you
right.
needed.
Okay, it's over. Game's over.
It's like, you know, the first ward kills, when they give you that first bit of XP and it changes everything because you get the level 2, like a minion quicker or whatever. Like, that's what's going to happen now. Just that extra bit of gold is the longsword difference in about 2 minutes. Hang on, level 1. A little bit of trading over the wave. Not too much more to be seen there, though.
All right, so my eyes literally go straight to the jungle because I feel like this is where the action is primarily going to be coming through. And seeing as Lulash is going to be starting his pathing from the bot side all the way to top, I'm expecting to see potentially like putting a little bit of effort towards Chance over on the top side. We did see some really cool videos and clips being pulled from the analyst desk of him doing some really dangerous and illegal stuff onto the Cassante. So potentially getting that Cassante ahead a little bit early off in this game will allow a little bit more freedom in terms of having that very chunky tank over in the front line, because LR's front to back is absolutely disgusting, right? If they do get to the 30 to 40 minute mark, to those 3 to 4 items deep, I feel like DMG is going to be really difficult for them to break that.
And it has often been a trait of LR, right? Like, lose early, win late, because you can trust in their team fight, and you can trust in their scaling, you can trust in their macro sense as the game gets further on, even if there's been 1 or 2 fumbles in the early game here or there. Not looking at any particular player on our screen right now. But even so, you've still got to be afraid of things like Lulush on this Trundle, putting a pillar behind the center, into the Jin W, into the Talia shove, into the Rel combo.
I love
Early
that.
back here from the Talia to come back and get the tier straight away.
I love what Baus just did there. That's very respectful from him, knowing that the Trundle potentially started bot side, heading towards the top side of the map. Look how he walked into the tri-bush, put a deep ward over in the Krugs area to
very
spot
smart.
Trundle. Lulash did see that this obviously was warded because it was warded right in front of him, but that shows that Trundle's on the top side of the map. Now, this is the Bwipo dilemma. Do you stay and push and potentially die, but you've shoved your wave, or do you back off now? It's going to be option number 1.
It's Baus. Does it ever change? Well, leap strike counters right there's the pillar. Still has got face rush though, so he's really quick and just gets to run faster than the frozen domain. So Baus will lose 20% of his HP bar, but doesn't really lead to all that much. Bot lane though, I think we might be looking at a bit of a dive. Karmsky crashes down, gets some value, but a flash on forward from CAEDREL, and Flash First Blood goes to Velia there
And that's
in the bot
fantastic.
side.
They looked for the dive, 3 versus 2. The Jin only has a cleanse on him, no double displacement summoner, so it was very easy for LR to just pull off that dive right there. Fantastically made. And topside doesn't get a response from the sort of DMG. Baus, not only did he not lose a summoner, he didn't die or anything, he just circled back into his lane on a pushed lane from Chan. So all great right here, and especially the kill going over to that Wukong. Any champion that builds Trinity Force, it's such an expensive item, and especially when it's a first item strike, getting that injection of gold earlier on in the game is definitely going to help them for those skirmishes to come.
Definitely will do. Early soul stacking as well. Always feels good getting involved in those kills as the Senna. Again, with a lot of nerfs to that champion in general. She doesn't stack souls as fast as she did once upon a time. And obviously you want to get those kind of markers for your range increase and the crit and all those kinds of things. The 100 soul mark being the golden ticket to late game Senna. But that just comes kind of 28 to 29 minute mark these days rather than kind of 5-6 minutes earlier than that. With the general way games go at the minute.
Yeah, I feel like they do have other answers, right? Until the Senna gets there, you've got the Azir, who's pretty fine on 1 to 2 items. You got Wukong and Jax as well. This is an AP Jax, so there's a lot of burst coming through. There's no mana on Baus.
No way, Karmsky.
She might just try to support. Okay,
nearly. Phantomisto. Gerst putting a ward down there, not too much there, but Velia taking the opportunity to head straight towards that dragon and take that one down, especially as they did just see Karmsky top side. Means there's been a bit of a lane swap of the bot lane towards that top side. Baus TPing top as well, interestingly, but it does generally mean there won't be much contest around this dragon, one would think.
I was about to say, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like a lot of the teams just swap for the sake of swapping. Like right here, Fatesky and Kamsky both have their flashes available. CAEDREL had to burn both for the dive down the bot lane, so there could be a situation where you get trundled on their way, the flash on Baus.
Deadly Flourish was flashed away from, but there's still a pillar. No Leaf Strike available. Baus Counter Striker just hops away again.
He's just on a very, very slippery champion this time around. He does lose his flash, and most importantly, that was a flash lost after he teleported back in lane. So both of his summoner spells are down. But again, I don't think it's going to matter much right here. Bot lane, in a little bit of pressure right here, Chance will be more than happy to CS all that underneath the tower, right? But all in all, what I was saying is that I feel like a lot of the teams will lane swap just for the sake of it, just for doing it. I feel like right here, you see that Kamsky and Fatesky were a little bit early for the Void Grabs. We still have a minute and a half, and the Dragon was given away in advance. But I feel like what they're trying to do is pretty much get away from whatever side Velia is playing for, especially since Velia went for the Dragon, especially since this Wukong has been a little bit accelerated with the Shin in the inventory.
Hang on, a bit of a potential fight there in the river, but that's level 6 now for Velia, so Lulis would not have very much fun there. Again, because some of these moves that Lulis has made, it's actually down that level and a fair amount of CS. This jungle invade now can get really dicey. Blue buff very much on the cards for LR if they want to fight this.
Velia is looking. The ward's gonna get cleared slowly. It's not gonna be the case. Velia cannot walk too far in. He does have the level 6 though, and he's constantly looking to potentially threaten, even dive down the bot lane or another invade towards the Gromp. He will stay. The B was fake. Velia and Baus putting a lot of pressure. The TP coming through as well. That will be from CAEDREL with the spell book. And Nemesis has also shoved in that mid lane. They really want that Gromp.
And that Gromp would be sick, so it's a good time to try and fight that Trundle. Is Cassante going to just reset and DMG just have to give it up? Lane priority lost, level 6. A little late for Lulis, so it's going to get punished well there by Lost Ratones with a coordinated invade. CAEDREL just stealing the small wolves. What a rat!
That was really fantastic right there from Velia. He used the fact that he was level 6 to level 5 onto Lulash, so he created pressure. I just want to point out the bot quadrant of Lulash's jungle. It's fully warded. I say 6 wards on the bot corner of that side. So it would definitely be a fantastic time after the Void Grabs to swap your bot lane down that bot side of the map, and you will have absolutely everything under control in terms of vision. Now Lulash looking towards the top side of the map with this Trundle. His bot lane is over the top side and pushing, trying to shove in that wave, trying to get some control into the river. But again, Velia playing so aggro onto this Wukong invading for the red buff.
Now red buff about to potentially go down as CAEDREL just stands there and starts autoing all the while top side. Reckless potentially in danger as the curtains are called. CAEDREL immediately goes and makes sure the Reckless stands behind Brown, but now Baus looking forward with the counter strike. Stun onto Lulis and the Trundle goes down for the count. Subjugate means nothing to a load of rebels from the side of Lost Ratones who claim the feat of warfare, and all the while Velia does go down to Chance, who goes all out and brings the Wukong low.
All right, we get Chance clips again onto the Cassante. It feels like this is truly his champion that he shines on. Gets one back. Top side of the map, Baus will be stuck between a tower and a not so hard place, because that's Brom. He'll be able to get out. Mid lane's gonna be pushed, and so far so good. I don't think any Void Grubs went down. It was pretty much just an establishment for some vision to take some control over the top side of the map to then go for the Void Grabs. But as we're gonna see right here on the replay, here it comes. All right, Velia pretty low. I think he actually heals Phantomista onto that Talia. Forces the flash as well. The Chance with the response skill onto that Cassante, but no smites mean that no team actually went for the Void Grabs. Now that we're back onto live, LR will try to re-establish a little bit more control over on the top side of the map. You will see that Nemesis is trying to push out that wave, but DMG are there first, and this will most likely be 2 Void Grubs for DMG's side.
Yeah, that's looking pretty good there. Not really seeing much of a contest, so at the very least it's going to be 2. Most likely all 3, which is good news. Getting something back here again. 3 kills to 1 down. Near enough 2,000 gold early on. It's pretty rough here, especially when we said, look, LR are likely the scaling team here. They're the ones with the jacks. Wukong is here. Senna, obviously. Ooh, slight mistime there on the seismic shove, trying to punish Nemesis as he came on in. Either way, good early game right now from Lost Ratones, and that's not always been a guarantee with this squad. DMG gonna want to try and right that ship very shortly, or things are gonna start getting tricky for them.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking at the inventories right now. Already see the Nashor's Tooth being completed for Nemesis right here. He's gonna be able to shove those waves really quickly. A lot of vision control and river control on the bot side of the map for LR. They already have one Dragon. Start to stack them on a team that wants to scale. Lulash!
CAEDREL jumps over the wall there, flashing on in, trying to turn around his Kamsky will then crash back on down. Not sure who actually got the grump there, but they were flashing for it, really trying to punish with these jungle invades. They have been relentless.
Yeah, I feel like, again, especially since Valia got that extra kill, he reached that level 6 first. I feel like Galar have been playing fantastically around him, right? I know that it's a meme, it's like, oh, whose fault is it? It's Valia's fault all the time, but I feel like Galar have been playing really, really well around the jungler right here. The knockup will make sure that Nemesis doesn't get any more damage onto Mr. right here. But again, Valia with a really, really, really strong monkey in his hands right here. He should be very close to Trinity Force, if not actually completing it when he's back in base. He's going to grab the second dragon of the game. There's going to be two dragons stacked. And especially when we're talking about a team, you mentioned it earlier, right? That wants to stack, that wants to get into that late game, that wants to evolve through items. I feel like having a few dragons early on means that if everything goes to hell, you can still stall by having 10 extra minutes from those 2 dragons.
Yeah. And again, you are then in a fantastic position. We've already got 2 dragons. Even if you lose them, as you said, they're still just fine. Mountain Soul to work with as well would be, in fairness, pretty good for the likes of a Trundle or a Cassante if you can get a hold of it. Bouncing once more between tier 2s and 3s and just whack someone with the counter strike. Trying to hop into the enemy base. Bounce! Where are you going? What is this direction? It was good.
I don't think he can here.
He's going to counter-strike a little bit more. The Pathmaker a little early. There is finally Baus falling, you would imagine. And Chance picks that one up all the while. Senna is shoving away that bot side, but Baus be Bausing.
Okay, so I want to point out here the minimap, right? Everyone sees what Baus does, and everyone might call him an Inta, but what he's doing right there is he took about 30 to 45 seconds of almost 4 members of DMG to try and stop him. Mid lane wave got pushed in, bot side jungle got invaded, and bot lane wave got shoved in. This is what we call pretty much dominating the map, right? You need those lanes pushed in so you can have further vision, so you're able to steal things away. If you look over in the jungle, Veli is about 30 CS up at this point over Lulash on this Trundle. And with Trundle, you really want to be able to be in the game, to be competitive. You're playing a bruiser. You don't necessarily need to be ahead, but falling behind really feels bad for Trundle, especially when there's no tank on the other side of the team to actually be able to subjugate, right? So right now, Lulash has been put in a very precarious situation as Nemesis...
He's 2 levels down. He's level 7. He's the same level as Israel. And that is really sad to see because, again, very, very proactive, coordinated play from Lost Ratones to make sure Lulash is suffering. They've got the lane priority. They've got the proxy farming in the base just to make sure they can do what you just said, is get into the jungle, steal away those camps, at least contest for them. Hell, CAEDREL flashed over a damn wall to throw an R button at Lulash is on his grump.
And everyone to dash out themselves, right? So far so good for LR. About 3,000 gold in the lead right here is exactly what you want, specifically on a team that shouldn't necessarily be winning in the early game. DMG have not necessarily played as much as we wanted to see them play around that mid jungle, using the Kalia, play through side. Nemesis.
And he's just dead, throws the ult out as well, and is just way too overeager. And on the other side, Chance has just managed to get a solo kill under the turret onto Baus. We'll try and pick up this T1 while he can. Actually, Valia coming down with CAEDREL. Could get a bit dicey. Lula's still around, might just give it up here and give that Cassante over to the Wolves, or I suppose in this case, the Monkeys. And Reckless will get over here to help clear out the wave and probably pick up that soul from the dead Cassante.
That's what I meant when I said, hey, even if everything goes to hell, there's still 2 dragons, there's still 10 minutes, right? We get the solo kill down bot lane from Chance. I'm really a big fan of this guy, especially onto his Cassante, and a fantastic flash from Kamsky on the tops of the map to shut down Nemesis, take his flash as well, very, very important. So I feel like Nemesis right now could potentially be that one target, that one champion with the target on his back, specifically when it goes towards neutrals. We have 10 seconds for the Rift Herald to spawn, and of course we're going to have in about a minute and a half time the next dragon, which is going to be very important, right? If LR manage to secure that is so point for them. You mentioned earlier, taking that Mountain Soul away from 2 tanks instead of DMG would be huge.
Trying to use that Atacon wall to hide. Gonna try and get the seismic shot. That gets the leap strike out. Magnus Storm after. Counter-strike comes on down. Gonna continue trying to run at Baus, but he's got a phase rush. He just walks away. And that's just an ult down for not very much, as Fatesky just gets 1v1 by Reckless. He's going to force the Ghostblade out at least. Doesn't lead to the full kill, that's rough.
I feel like that was a little bit misplayed by Phantom Mister right there. You know that Rel has a bunch of CC, and Kamsky actually really committed onto Baus. So that W being preemptively used right there, and then Dodds didn't really do them any favors. Taz is going to tip in, but it's too late.
Lulash is here. They really want to get something Well, curtains are called. Valley's going to flash. Glacial Fissure comes on. Glacial Fissure, sorry, comes on down. No Sejuani in this game. Cyclone used to buy some more time, and LR get out at the cost of a flash and a couple ults.
Yeah, and they're out. So one flash onto Velia, Muzolda was burned right there, but you get the Cassante TP right here, right? And again, we mentioned 30 seconds, 35 seconds about on the clock right here. LR will be able to get their resets, get back up on the map, grab a couple of control wards, play for the bot side of the map. You see Reckless is just constantly putting pressure on whoever shows up over in the mid lane. He really does have Fadeski's number on that Jhin as well. So mid lane perma pushing, putting pressure on that mid lane tower, making sure that you... I feel so bad for Lulash. I feel like bot side jungle has belonged to everyone except him.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much he can do individually, right? Like, you can't sit there and fight 1v3. You will die, but it just feels awful as a jungler, and you're the one that suffers. Well, at least get the Scuttle Crab, and again, may want to come and fight this TP now behind. Chance might be able to look at them. Player with only 6 days experience, looking to punish someone significantly more at this point, though it is, of course, Baus, who manages to hop around significantly more, perhaps a little bit of an overstatement when it comes to him.
I feel like this might be a free soul point for LR.
Chance.
The ultimates are not available for DMG, but they're still fighting.
Now in danger, flashing away. Reckless gets a bit of a root as a result of a lot of his Baus flashes on him for the counter-strike. Shuffle back with the Emperor's Divide. Come and hang around a little while longer. A double to Reckless. Back in the AD carry role and hasn't missed a shot. Phantomisto forced back under his tier 2. Valuable Warrior Trickster over the wall. Mid lane tier 1 is down, soul point secured and lost Ratones. It is their game to do with as they please.
I mean, when you've got a Jhin and a Talia in your team, those two ultimates are so pivotal to just creating space and taking over small choke points, creating fights, splitting up teams. And there were the two ultimates that were missing on the side of DMG. You cannot be fighting when two of your most crucial ultimates are down. They funneled in, Chance was too far forward, Alar were able to just melt him down before anyone else from DMG were there. And by the time that was done, I feel like the fight had already concluded, right? And we're gonna see again onto that replay. Chance a little bit too far forward. You see the Talia. He is a little bit too late. They get zoned by Baus. And look at Baus how beautifully he plays from the side, right? He can counter-strike, jump over on the other side, flashes in as well, gets the double kill for LR right there. And the shuffle from Nemesis comes through to solidify the deal. But again, DMG fighting without their ultimates right there was a little bit another nail in the coffin kind of deal.
It kind of was, and now we are in a position where Senna is 2.1k ahead, is stacking the souls just fine. You got a 2k lead in the jungle. Everywhere you look, it's blue numbers for LR, and it ain't getting any easier anytime soon. DMG now looking to collapse, maybe pick up a turret with their first of the game, a little bit of something back, it'd be a bounty. But I am clutching at straws here, and DMG need every silver lining they can get.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a secret agent Baus right there, not moving on purpose, but no. It was a replay, sort of standing still for a second. He got that tower over on the top side of the map, and I guess this is how he died.
And that's how the Weaver's Wall came on through to punish him. He gets seismic shoved and dies as a result. But hey, gets the turret, gets the wave after. For Baus, I think he'll say that's worth.
Absolutely. Second items getting slowly completed on the side of Alar right here. We're looking at the Leech Bait for Baus onto these jacks. We go Rapid Fire and a Death Cap. Second item for Nemesis, and I will tell you, that Pandemic with Rylai's second item, with just wait until we have 4 items on Azir until we do damage, did things to me, man, at MSI. I love the fact that we're back on the NLC and Nemesis just slamming Death Cap second item on Azir and actually deals a ton of damage.
Slows, Georgia.
Right?
Slows, I don't need damage. I've got other teammates for that. I can just make sure everyone else can do damage. Let's just go utility.
Man. I've got Braum for slows, that's fine.
Well, that's fine. My brain's slow enough, you know? I don't need it from my hands as well. Either way, DMG now, whatever to do with Velia. Nimbus strikes forward, Pillar comes up. There's Chance trying to run at Baus here. Again, Chance actually had a few really good individual plays versus Baus, but struggled to find any meaningful advantage. A couple hundred gold ahead, the only member on his team to have so. It's his red buff being fought over. Kamsky going for that grand engage. Doesn't really find too much. The only trying to come through, and now the turnaround with Brawl passive rolling. Chance TPing in. CAEDREL will try to use the stand behind me to get a little bit out to safety. Fadeski turning on up as well, but now Chance in danger. Cyclone comes on through, and unfortunately, he ends up knocking into the rest of the squad. They're going to look for some more as Nemesis slides, glides, and divides. The whole of DMG for the remaining health bars. Kamsky will at least get out to safety, but they they lose 3 at price of absolutely no one.
And you can see how strong Braum is when you pretty much funnel into a choke point. He gets to put his shield up and pretty much absorb anything that comes their way. LR, that was probably like the closest fights that they had. One of the closest fights. A lot of HP bars went pretty low, but I feel like DMG at this point, they're really lacking in the damage department, right? Again, 2 items completely over on LR. DMG are just hanging about on like 1.5. Some of their members have 2, but they couldn't really commit to this choke point, especially since CAEDREL's there with that Braum to absorb majority of the damage.
And there's just control wards everywhere. There's nothing in the river really, or even in their own jungle right now for DMG in terms of control. There's that death cap you're talking about, the upgrade to the synchronized souls. Where's the symbiotic souls? I forget which way around it is for the boots in the inventory of Nemesis. They've nerfed it as much as you want. Nemesis still runs them for all of that map control, and it's just not getting any easier anytime soon. Soul on the line for LR in about a minute, and I suspect they'll be claiming it on the dot.
Yeah, I feel like right now flashes are going to be very, very pivotal for DMG if they want to make a pick. I feel like Kamsky has been very pivotal for like a lot of the picks that DMG got earlier on. He does commit his flash, he does commit his ultimate, he tries to find plays, look for picks on the map. But right here, Kamsky not having that flash on Rel just makes it that much more difficult, right? And what we're talking about this is because of the range of all of those champions, the Azir, the Senna. It's just 2 champions that are so difficult to catch. Wukong, Jack, so slippery as well. You really do need that flash if you want to make an impact, if you want to throw Talia over top of that, get Cassante over in the backline. And right now it's just becoming really, really difficult for DMG to find those picks. What?
That's a Lichbane proc.
What?
Curtains are called.
I looked away for 1 second. I looked away for 1 second because I'm like, Talia's on the tower. It's fine. It's so fine.
They're going to jump onto this tier 2 now. Chance going to try and get a little bit of value. Needs to be a bit wary as CAEDREL comes on through and gives him another gift. Tries to go and stop him with the Pathmaker. Goes all out, drags him with a turret, but it's immediately interrupted by that Glacial Fissure. Fatesky coming on over, throws the thumbs up. My days. Chance nearly dies to some incidental soldier damage. Fatesky also similarly chunked Death Cap. You call it out. It's doing a massive chunk. He was on vision by a Farsight alteration. Velia's going to spot him, and that's a 3-level advantage. You don't win that one, Trundle. And Kamsky's going to have to leave his jungler out to die. Cyclone just a little bit shy. Flash away. CAEDREL debating flying over as well. Throws down a present. Merry Christmas! It's the middle of the summer, but Santa Braum don't care.
And here, LR, they're going to get a very important pick. It's the guy with the smite, right? I feel like Lulas was probably trying to find a way behind, either get a pick or just hide, potentially try to steal with the smite for the Mountain Soul, and now LR is just going to get that much more durable. Add Braum on top of that, add a bunch of all the utility that Senna brings on top of that, add Vows with another solo kill on top of that, and LR are just dominating the map.
And there's the Mountain Soul. Sure, Trundle can press R on someone. Maybe that'll help a bit, but it doesn't feel like there is anything left in the tank for DMG, who are very much lacking their namesake right now.
All right. 10,000 gold lead for LR. Undying bot lane. Reckless and CAEDREL might be the new duo. You know, Crowny who? We've got Crowny at home.
He's not here, you know? That's it. Crowny got to be sweating a little bit here. It's looking good right now for LR. The Infinity Edge done for Reckless. Not going for any of that Black Cleaver nonsense. Raw damage from the center right now.
And that's going to get that much more difficult again. I have one thing in mind, and that's Kamsky's flash coming up in 7 seconds from now. But I feel like at this point it's just so difficult. You do not have the damage. That Trundle has been stuck on that Trinity Force forever. That's a 3,000 gold lead in the jungle. A 3-level difference in the jungle. And it's just becoming so much more difficult to play those choke points, especially when Braum is there.
Trying to get a hold of Braum, but he's so damn tanky, they'll drag him all out, but he's still only lost a third of his HP bar. Kamsky about to die, doesn't quite. Nemesis shuffles Phantomisto over the wall. They finally bring down the Braum, but it's at the Alst. The whole cost of the entire team. A triple kill over to Velia. Make it the double over to Baus as well for the full house. And Lost Ratones take absolutely no prisoners. The coach, the owner, is avenged in very short order.
And I love how everyone scattered immediately right after this fight. You see Nemesis instantly bot lane to push that wave, mid lane Reckless, run back all the way down the mid side of the map to push that wave forward. Bounce over on the top side of the map, the air literally. Here comes the Faker tempo TP as well from Nemesis. They're probably going to start Baron right after this.
No doubt that they will. Inhibitor already taken. Reckless sticks and gets another inhibitor turret. So one exposed, one down. It's only the bot lane that remains intact. And all the while the Baron has been started. And at this point, I don't think it'll last all that long.
Reckless right there with the prize money triple auto. That was very much needed onto the Baron and LR. I feel like it's as easy as done right here. That is a 14,000 gold lead if I can do math correctly, which I think I can. No, maybe that's not.
I'm not going to try and do it because I will also get it wrong.
15,000 gold. No, that's a 15,000 gold lead. That was very close. I was very close, you know. Let's watch it one more time. CAEDREL. They feel like they have caught him there, but this is Braum in a choke point. It's just so difficult. You see how the rest of DMG are finding it really awkward to just funnel through that choke point to get forward to do any damage. Then Phantom Mister gets caught by Nemesis on the side, and the rest of the DMG squad are just being zoned out by Mouse.
And they all head on in, and Baus just whacks him for an insane amount of damage. The Lich Bane procs with Empower are really wild. We come back to life as Baus potentially in danger here. Does get shut down. Nice pick up with the subscape. Avelia now coming across onto Faith. Q flashes away. Cyclone comes on down. How much more can they get done? Nemesis now looking to slide on in. Just so across the Unraveled Earth. Dawning Shadow coming across keeps people a little bit healthy on the side of LR, and they lose an additional member of the Weaver's Wall coming on in because in the base. Look who's shoving. It's Reckless and CAEDREL. They're already taking turrets. Chance already low. And Phantomisto is just a phantom. A ghost in the rain, taken out in really short order. Reckless with the double on the fountain. They continue auto, shuffled off it. Even your fountain ain't safe to LR. Baus isn't alive to suicide to it. But Lost Ratones in 27 minutes put DMG to the sword.
Who knew that what we actually needed in the NLC is a